But there are people that I know that he didn't get. You know what I'm saying? A couple of brothers that I know them personally that he didn't get because they was real men. You know, let's like, okay, well then I'm not doing that, so I'm gonna walk myself. I'm going to say it. I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't say the mob was doing that. That's what he was doing. You understand what I'm saying? I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, man. Horrifying, man. But like I say, you know what? I don't believe that your child or young person could be your best friend. I believe they lose some type of respect for you at some point. They do. And it's sad. You're not really preparing them for the world when you tell them to do something and they say, I'll do it in 5 minutes. But that's not when I tell you to do something. See, I look at it as, you know what advice would you give to a young lady that is raising a child by themselves and they don't have a male role model for that young man to look at? Because you know what? I believe in most cases, a woman cannot raise a boy into a man. In most cases.
You're getting ready to have all the ladies upset with you, boy.
No, you know what I said? I didn't say in all cases.
Right.
In most cases. Do you agree with that?
Well, we both of us are of the Islamic persuasion, and you know what we believe. That ain't no question. It takes a man to raise a man and a woman to raise a woman. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's how we believe. But other people don't. They don't believe like that. Me and my son, you know, I would never. This is my bloodline. This is my flesh of my flesh. I wouldn't allow his mother to raise him. You know what I'm saying? He's got to go with me. You know, my daughter, she can go with you. But he's got to go with me.
Alhamdulillah. So, brother, tell us about the event that is, you say what? Because we're going to share this. I'm going to post this again on Facebook, on YouTube, and I hope that you post it on your media. And you know what? Tell us about the event that is coming up in terms of the future. What can we do to help and aid and assist Brother Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover? What can we do?
Well, there's an event coming up, you know, the benefit concert, December 9th.
Okay.
December 9th in Los Angeles, California, Los Angeles Coliseum. Mm-hmm. You know, it's going to be a concert again. You understand me? By Ye and Drake coming together, and this is for the support. Also, if you're not with that, I want you to, if it's Facebook or whatever, Google Free My Father, you know, and get on board with that, with my brother's campaign. You understand me, to free his father, you know, or you can take just Google Larry Hoover Enterprise, you know what I'm saying, and follow some of the things and get the info for LarryHooverJr.com, you know what I'm saying, and become involved in that way. Therefore, you know, your help can go directly, you know, to freeing Mr. Larry Hoover.
And you know what? That is very, very important. These type of brothers, they can motivate. I'm going to emphasize that they can talk to the youth in a language that the pastor, that the preacher, that the imam, that the cardinal don't have the ability to speak in, to motivate them.
Right,
you know,
right.
We must stop the killing. But you know what? I'm not saying they can stop the killing. They can minimize the killing. What would you say? They can stop the killing or minimize it?
I would say minimize, because you always got these rogue guys that's just gonna do what they gonna do anyway. Which you sometimes you might have to kill them. So that's a murder. You know what I'm saying? So
we don't want to do that though.
Right. No, we don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? But in civilized society, you know, especially when you go over to the Middle East, you know, some things, you know, that you did require death. that was the payment for it.
Sharia law, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Some things would require, thieves get their hands cut off. We don't want to see you with one hand, brother, because now you can only do half the work, but you can't be running around here stealing either. you know, you know what I'm saying? So, but
Man,
that's,
don't get talking about Sharia law, man.
yeah, yeah. Sharia law, exactly.
You know what? As a Muslim, well, you know what? I'm gonna keep that out of it because I'm concentrating on Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford. With my religious persuasion. That's one thing I had to do. I have to learn to be objective.
Right.
It's kind of hard to be, man.
Well, see, that's the thing with these organizations. These organizations that I'm telling you right off the bat, they basically work on Sharia law. That's why the discipline is so strict. You understand me? And the structure is so keen when it's there, because there are consequences to pay. And most of the times when you're dealing with black men, you have to make those consequences, as such, where brothers do not want to have to deal with those consequences. That's how you stop those actions.
Okay. You got something right here. You know what? I can't even read it. For example, in the East Coast of New York, there are guys, I cannot read the whole thing. I don't know. Government must be messing with the screen.
There was a guy named Mother Dear who studied 52 blocks and would try and take advantage of the inmates. Yeah. I respect that. Yeah, he was a sexual predator. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna tell you, in Illinois, you know what I'm saying? In Illinois, he'd have been dealt with. He'd have been dealt with. Yeah.
Oh no, man. You know what? That's one. One of the things that I always believed, and I would like to ask your opinion. You have the police officers that patrol the community and know where the drugs. They knew where the drugs were. They knew where the prostitution was, but they did nothing about it.
Right.
And you know what? And then when you go and tell the state representative, our alderman, and they say, "No, man, they ain't selling no drugs in this community." How is it that I can tell you what a drug house is and where to buy a gun, and the police can't?
Well, it's called job security. If police bust all the drug houses and get everybody off the street with the guns, then they don't have no damn job. They're definitely not no full time and no overtime. you understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. In Chicago, Jack, crime is going down, and all the crime is not supported. You know what I'm saying? Just by the average citizen. A lot of crimes in Chicago is happening because of Chicago police. They're the ones I'm telling you right now, and I know you live in Chicago. You see them train yards. Them train yards in Chicago are like mini cities. They have their own roads. They have their own routes. How in the hell are you going to be able to pick out one train car with all the guns? Somebody got to tell you which train car that is. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff that's going on out here. But the fact of the matter is, that's why we're talking about Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover. See, individuals like that have enough power, to be able to thwart that with a word and say, "Hey, man, stop pushing these guns in here." You know what I'm saying? Anybody know about the guns? Raise their hand. Tell us about these guns. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? You got to have somebody that's situating like that, so that people will be able to stop this madness, man. And a lot of things are slipping through the cracks, and a lot of people are lying, and a lot of people are dodging responsibility. But the fact of the matter is, if everybody takes up their banner and they choose the right side, because that's the real deal. You got to know that if this Caucasian or this power that be individual don't necessarily have to be a Caucasian, it can just be a power that be individual, because a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, the black man is working the white agenda, better than the white man. You know what I'm saying? So if you can come in and you can take up your responsibility, and choose the right side, then you'll make the right decision.
You got Mr. Low, what's that? Mars Low, he totally agrees. And I want to ask you. I know this is turning into a longer interview than what I anticipated. But something. I hope you will share this, and who knows? Larry them may hear about this. I don't know, but you know what? I want to ask you something about police. The police have to wear body cams. Do you think that they should have 2 body cams so they can never have the excuse one didn't work?
That's a good idea.
And
They got the room.
correction officers, because
Mm-hmm.
of their mistreatment, should they have 1 body cams too?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, in corrections office. Absolutely. It should be cameras everywhere because there's cameras where you want them cameras to be. So, you know what I'm saying? It should be cameras everywhere. But there's cameras on them doors. There's cameras on the front doors. And they done moved to these pods and got away from sales. It's cameras on them pod doors. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Okay. You know, there's another question that's just came to me. A police. The mayor said, the mayor of Chicago said that before she ran for office, while she was running for office, she was going to make a civilian police board. And she's waffled and changed her mind. Why? And why did she make that promise? Why?
You see that man that's in offices is in
You throw it off YouTube talking about we're going.
You know we got to talk about him when we talk about the mayor because he's now running for mayor and he's been her opposition from day one and I understand it, but in reality,
I'm talking about Lightfoot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the man that's the president of police operations. Okay. You know what I'm saying? The one that's been giving her hell from day one. You know what I'm saying? The real deal is that they never respected her authority when she came in. First of all, man, Chicago is a very, very intricate place. She don't have no business being mayor here because she don't know the ins and outs. You understand what I'm saying? You can't come from Ohio and come from Detroit and come from Lexington, Kentucky and whatnot. You can't do that and be Chicago and be a mayor of Chicago because you got to know the history here. You got to know the people because there are hidden godfathers in every community that you need to have a knowledge of to go to be able to run this country, and that are not on political venues. They not running for alderman or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to know these people. And
totally agree.
You don't know them.
So she said that she would make a civilian police board. She had no intention of doing that anyway.
No. But it's they used to have what was that citizens. They used to have
you talking about caps. You talking about caps.
Yeah, they used to have caps that folded. You know, so that's the idea. You know, they be having these things, man, that fold because they say those things so that they can get the election of the people.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think this is my last question. Now we've been in here almost 2 hours, but you know what? Well, almost my last question. You know what? Do you think if a police officer had private insurance, like a private detective, and people that do hair, which I don't have no hair, okay, and do nails, they have to have insurance. Do you think they would think twice about doing wrong if they had to get insurance like a private detective? And should they get it? And correctional officers.
I agree with it. Earlier, a couple of years back, me and Gator was putting together a campaign where we believed, and I don't know where you got it from. I don't know if you got it from us or not, but where we believe that would be one of the things to deter police violence. That if you had to buy a certain insurance and you injured somebody and you had to actually pay for that, you know, or it was docking on your pay. You know what I'm saying? And that it leaned against your police credibility and your record. That, yeah, they would think twice. But they're not going to institute something like that because, again, you know, picking sides, if you understand what's going on, these people are licensed to keep this shit in order. They have to be. And all of the paperwork, all of that shit is just preliminaries. These men are licensed to keep this shit in order, and that's why you see the majority of them. When you see police in Chicago, I mean, it's a bunch of police in Chicago. It is a bunch of them, and only a small percentage of them are black.
Yeah, but you know what? I have to ask you a fair question. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm asking from my objective point of view. I listen to WBON radio station. Okay. That's a black-owned radio station that comes on in Chicago. Okay, you say there should be more black police officers. My question is, even if it was, how's it going to stop the code of silence? There's a code of silence on the police department where it is. If me and you are cops and I see you do something, I ain't going to tell on you.
Right.
So if you have a legion of black police officers, that is not going to eliminate the code of silence, in my opinion. But if I am wrong, correct me.
No, I don't think you're wrong. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell you about numbers, because somebody said, numbers mean nothing. Numbers mean everything. You know what I'm saying? If you got 100 police and 90 of them are on the code of silence, the code of silence is in favor of who the 90 is. You understand what I'm saying? So if we had the switch, if we had 100 police and 90 of them were black, then that 90